At the end of the day, nobody knows what I went through. Nobody knows what I'm going through. So nobody, you, him, whoever the fuck, you don't get to sit here and talk about shit.
Judge, you've been around when you're doing meeting with all these families. What part of the responsibility is mothers? What part of the responsibility is on the father? Because typically the blame goes on the father.
Well, there are no fathers. And see, the thing of it is, these men that just ran off and left the women, these women don't want the men. All they wanted was the babies. And see, you had people like the poetress Nikki Giovanni back in the 60s were going all around the country and they were lecturing the women, and they were young women, and they were saying, you don't need a father for your children. Just get preggo, find one that looks good, smart, athletic. Yeah, that one. And don't even tell him that he's the daddy, because if you bring a man into the picture, they screw up everything. So there was this point where if you had the guy around, there was a problem. And then there was some that did want the guy around, but back when I first started practicing law 50 years ago, one of our number one cases was getting the check cut back on because some dingbat social worker would sit at the end of the block with binoculars, and if there was one or two of the 6 or 7 baby daddies trying to play father, they'd cut the check off. So we had problems with juvenile courts around the country where, Judge, that's not my kid. Well, you feed it long enough, he'll look just like you. So, you know, that was before DNA. And I can remember one thing. It was a cop I was representing, and he got a petition to increase the child support. So when they called the kid's name, I stood up, he stood up. 2 more lawyers stood up and 2 other guys stood up. So this woman was collecting child support from 3 guys for the same kid. So we finagled getting some DNA testing, and none of the 3 were the daddies.
No way.
So, I mean, you have these horror stories going on.
Let me get some money, babe. I say, man, I ain't got no money. That money you be seeing me with on Instagrams That be fake money, man. That be prop money. This is not my money, girl. I do not have nothing. Let me get some money, babe. I say, man, I ain't got no money. That money you be seeing me with on Instagrams, that be fake money, man. That be prop money. This is not my money, girl. I do not have nothing.
Testing, testing, 1, 2. Yeah. How y'all doing today? This is Mr. Royce J of Royce Media coming at you guys with another live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. What's going on, everybody? It's Taco Tuesday. Yeah. You know you guys are gonna be eating those carnitas, even though some of y'all be wanting to be Muslim. Y'all can't do that at the same time. You know that's wrong. Yeah. My dogs seem that like they want to hang out in the studio today, man. You know. Let's see. Hold on. Come on. Yeah, let me close the door for my dogs for a second, man. My two of my dogs want to come in and hang out. You know. I think I really know what it is. I gotta go get my dogs some treats. So, I'm supposed to give them their treats at a certain time because I do it every day, and I'm falling a little bit behind today. So I think that's why they want to come in here and see what I'm doing. So let me go handle this real quick, and I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. And as you all come into the respective platforms for the live streams, do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Do like my man Cool Kamasi. Shout out to you. And uh say something in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'd appreciate it. Let me go give my dogs their treats. All right, your boy's back. Yeah, man, I forgot to give my dog said treats. Man, that's what they was looking at me like, hey, Dad, you want our treats? I don't know. So a whole lot has been going on. The whole Walter Weeks, aka Fresh fiasco, has been going on. They've been talking about that. Excuse me. People have been talking about Diddy. That's been going on. You know, you've had others in the news like Cat Williams, who, he kind of really kicked it off for 2024 as far as letting people know what time it is. So you got a lot of that going. So, and uh apparently I'm thinking that either Oprah, Harpo, or Kevin Hart will be the next to be exposed. I'm thinking it's gonna be one of them, man. Everybody keep talking about Jay-Z. I think we're gonna see Jay-Z after one of those guys. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. A lot of people got a lot of smoke for Jay-Z, but I don't think it's gonna be Jay-Z yet. I don't know. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? I don't think it's gonna be Jay-Z yet, man. So yeah. Shout out to my bro, Angry Snowman. Angry Snowman is doing a series on that Netflix series, Quiet on the Set. Shout out to Angry Snowman. If you are not subscribed to his content, go check him out. Angry, as with all of the content creators, I tend to gravitate towards. Angry Snowman is not for the faint of heart. If you are racially sensitive, you might want to stay away from Angry Snowman, because Angry Snowman is he is he's a Midwest white dude, and they're gonna say what they're gonna say, whether you like it or not. Good people, but they don't care about your feelings like that. They don't give a fuck about your feelings. Them white guys be on some fuck your couch all the time. you know. So, but he's doing a docu-series on Quiet on the Set, man. And he did the first episode last night. And let me tell you, from what I'm seeing with this whole show, is that basically it talks about the irresponsibility of parents, in particular mothers, in allowing their kids to be around people who will groom their children. They'll do anything for the money. So that's that's what I'm getting out of the series. I am going to sit down and watch the series myself. The uh I've seen the series advertised on Netflix. I think I might check it out tonight. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows, which is hilarious. And so I haven't been watching much else, but I think I gotta watch that Quiet on the Set. You know, it's a bit of outrage porn for me because I don't like it when I hate when you have people that allow their children to be in situations that are harmful to the kids. I absolutely hate it. It drives me mad. It drives me mad. I don't like it. And so um I'm pretty sure I'll be pretty triggered after watching it. But I think it's something that's got to be done. I think it's something that's got to be seen. You know. Um, I gotta go check something. Okay, I don't know what that was. I got this newfangled alarm system, so I don't know what that was. Hey, I want to show y'all something, man. I want to take a look at this. I want to talk about this because shout out to Governor DeSantis for coming out with this squatter legislation to get him up to get him up out your spot immediately. And I don't know if I think I have talked about this on the platform before. I used to have rental properties when I stayed in Illinois, and I had to do 3 different evictions, and each eviction took me 7 months to get the people out, and it was horrible, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. Lost a lot of money. Um, you know, then you have attorneys of a certain ethnicity, they look at it as like, yeah, we gonna rob you too. Then people gonna rob you and we gonna rob you. Come to find out, there was a lot of there was some stuff I could have did on my own, save some money to get these people out. And the attorneys, they went to court, didn't do anything. They just took the money and ran off. So, you know, it was a bad experience overall for me. Just dealing with squatters and dealing with shiesty attorneys. You know, they treat it like it's just open season. On the working class. I'm not gonna say the black man because they do the same they pull same shenanigans on white Americans, Hispanic Americans, all of that. Just grimy people. So let's take a look at this short that deals with Governor DeSantis. Shout out to Governor DeSantis getting out the squatters. Let me pull this up so y'all can see this.
Broke into and settled in her home.
Stolen washer dryer.
Patty put her Jacksonville home up for sale after a longtime tenant moved out. A short time later, she was shocked to discover 2 women she'd never.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. Look who showed up at the house. Look at him. Look at him, boy. Hey, look. Look who showed up, man. Yeah.
Seen before were living there. They claim they had signed a lease and refused to leave. The lease was a fraud, but Patty discovered she couldn't just kick them out. She had to file what's called a notice of ejectment, which gave the women weeks to respond. Then a judge had to rule on her case, which gave them weeks more. When they finally left, Patty's home was ruined. The new law signed Wednesday by Governor DeSantis allows law enforcement to immediately remove squatters who don't have a legal right to live in a home.
You know, this situation is becoming more and more, it was becoming more and more rampant in the state of Florida. You know, some of these people would be Florida residents. Some of these people would be coming from other places and setting up shop, you know, from places where they got away with doing this stuff before. And Florida was usually good, where it would only take weeks to evict squatters, you know, as opposed to places like California, Illinois, where it can take months, sometimes even years in the worst cases. But now you can get them out damn near immediately. Shout out to Governor DeSantis. Go Ron, go. And when 2028 come, we're going to run you as president. Just not now. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Or an apartment. It also makes it a felony to cause $1,000 or more in damages to the property. Patty Peoples' nightmare jump-started Florida's campaign to end squatters' rights. Two strangers broke into and settled in her home.
Stolen washer dryer.
Patty put her Jacksonville home up for sale after a longtime tenant.
They stole appliances. They destroyed the property. They probably cost this woman, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in damages. You know, I've got some rental properties right now, and I put used stuff in the rental property. You know, I don't mess around. If it's nice and you want to keep it, don't put it in the rental property. Let's continue.
Tenant moved out. A short time later, she was shocked to discover two women she'd never seen before were living there. They claimed they had signed a lease and refused to leave. The lease was a fraud, but Patty discovered she couldn't just kick them out. She had to file what's called a notice of ejectment, which gave the women weeks to respond. Then a judge had to rule on her case, which gave them weeks more. When they finally left, Patty's home was ruined. The new law signed Wednesday by Governor DeSantis allows law enforcement to immediately remove squatters who don't have a legal right to live in a home or an apartment. It also makes it a felony to cause $1,000 or more in damages to the property. Patty Peoples' nightmare jump-started Florida's campaign to end squatters' rights. Two strangers broke into and settled in her home.
Stolen washer dryer.
Patty put her Jacksonville home up for sale after a longtime tenant moved out. A short time later, she was shocked to discover two women she'd never seen before were living there. They claimed they had signed a lease and refused to leave. The lease was a fraud, but Patty discovered she couldn't just kick them.
All right, that's enough of that. What do y'all think about that, man? What do y'all think about the anti-squatters legislation signed in the state of Florida? What is you all opinion of that? I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think more states need to follow suit. I think in this situation, Governor DeSantis is being a leader. But he's definitely leading the way. I think in light of what has happened over the last few years, people need to they need to be able to protect their property better. You know, You already have eminent domain issues to worry about, and you have issues of crime and stuff like that. Oh, hold on, man. Something's going on. I- All right, all right. I'm back. Had to figure that situation out. Had to go check my lanai doors. You know, somebody's let the dogs out. Didn't lock the doors, so had to get that fixed. Anyway, so what do y'all think about this legislation, man? Have you all dealt with squatters and issues like that in your own personal lives? Is this something that you all have dealt with or have seen? You know, rent scammers, different things like that. You know, the sovereign citizens moving in your place and filing all kinds of goofy liens against your property, trying to take your property. It's a real thing, man. I've seen it more than once. I've seen it more than once, man. So yeah. So we got that going on. There's another video I'm going to show you guys of what those European countries that one of those European countries that leftists love to tout as being better than the US. I'm going to show you all this video and we're going to talk about it, man. Yeah, I mentioned yesterday. We're going to talk about it today because I think it's a great point of discussion and it kind of exposes. Well, it's not. It don't kind of expose. It definitely exposes that when these people are always talking about, systems in other countries, they don't know what they're talking about. So let me pull this up. Y'all can see this, man. Pull this article up so we can talk about it, man. This is something that immediately brings to mind leftist talking points. There are much better run and more efficient countries in the United States. And if you look at countries, and they love talking about country Dutch and Norwegian countries, talking about how great these countries are. So we're going to take a look at, I believe this is Denmark. Let's take a look at this. Can you all see? Can you all see this? It's moving a little slow, but it'll get here. Give it a few seconds. I might have to try to pull it up a different way. Let me. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Let me go to YouTube, see if I can find this article. I was able to pull it up yesterday. Now it wants to trip. We're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to what Angry Snowman was talking about last night. But let's look at this. Let's see if we can find that. Okay. Oh, I tell you, man, this wants to get real. It's like real funky today. All right, here we go. Here we go. I think I have found a video. Now, I am not opposed to a person's to right to end life. I am not at all. You know, I'm a constitutionalist, and you know, even though I'm a registered Republican, I do lean libertarian. And one of those things that I put something on there YouTube didn't like. So YouTube is messing with the stream. Of course. Of course. YouTube is going YouTube. The globalists are going to globalists. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. This is what they do, man. They get mad at me and they disrupt the stream. Make it hard out here for a P.
Our next story is from the Netherlands, the story of a 28-year-old woman called Zoraya Terbeek. She has chosen euthanasia, the act of dying with medical help. Of course, it's not new. So why is this case grabbing headlines? It's because Zoraya Terbeek has decided to end her life due to crippling mental health problems. She suffers from depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder. She has sought help for it all her life, she says, but now she thinks there is nothing more that can be done. So she has chosen legal euthanasia. Her choice has sparked a lot of debate. Critics say it would encourage more people to kill themselves legally. I must warn you, this story could be triggering, so viewer discretion.
Okay, y'all see where we're going with this, right? Okay, so a few things. The article that I initially, or the video that I initially saw, made it seem as if the euthanasia was imposed by the government. From what I'm getting from this current video that we're looking at, which is on a different broadcast, this First Post, shout out to First Post, they're saying that the woman has opted for this, whereas Fox News, surprise, surprise, says that the that the state, they made it seem like the state imposed the euthanasia. So, you know, I'm not surprised. You know, all of these weirdos have agendas. I don't know. A lot of times it's better to get your news outside of the matrix than to get it inside, because the matrix will have you looking at stuff one way when you probably should be looking at it another way. So let's continue with this article. Fair use, fair use.
Is advised.
Zoraya Terbeek. She's 28. She's physically healthy. She lives in a Dutch village with her boyfriend and 2 cats. From a distance, her life sounds blissful, but it's far from that. Terbeek has been dealing with mental health issues all her life. She grapples with crippling depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder. She has sought help for her problems. She has tried.
In other words, she sounds like a whole lot of these women running around in the U.S. A whole lot of people, you know, especially these women, you know, they're running around with undiagnosed mental illness and you know, undiagnosed, you know, they're on the autism spectrum and stuff. You know, you come to find out they talk about all these troubles and how they don't like this and somebody's always doing that. You come to find out, oh no, you're autistic. But yeah. She needs to come to the US and she will see that people like her are all over the place. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Many treatments, but nothing has worked. So Terbeek sees her mental illness as incurable, which is why she has now made a difficult choice. She has decided to be euthanized. Euthanasia is the practice of intentionally ending one's life. It is done by a doctor to limit a patient's suffering. Different countries have different euthanasia laws. In some countries like India, it's a crime, but in others, it's allowed. Currently, it's legal in around 10 nations. The Netherlands is one of them. In fact, it was the first country to legalize euthanasia in 2001, so patients can opt for it. The procedure will happen at her home. A doctor will first give her a sedative. Then she will be given a drug that will stop her heart. Her boyfriend will be by her side until the end. Following her death, Terbeek will be cremated.
You know, I have no issues with how the procedure plays out. I just would imagine it would be hard on her loved ones, her boyfriend included. You know, it's a decision that is very serious. It shouldn't be taken lightly. So, you know, at least she will be at home and be with her family. you know, when the procedure happens. But let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
She has even planned for her ashes to be scattered in a designated location in a forest. The move reflects a growing trend in the Netherlands. More and more people want to end their suffering from mental health issues. They don't want to endure it, so they are choosing euthanasia. Terbeek's choice has sparked a lot of outrage. Some call it a worrying trend. They say euthanasia was long seen as the last resort, but increasingly it's becoming a viable option for patients.
All right, what do you all think about that? I, as far as a person being able to make this choice for themselves, I've got no issue with it. If we can allow people to swap out genital parts, you know, and to, you know, do cosmetic enhancement kits, so forth and so on, I don't have an issue. Hood, what up, man? Shout out to Hood Servative. Hood Servative has been on a tear lately. Check out his content. As with the other content creators, I tend to mention he is not for the faint of heart. You have to be open-minded to watch his content. But if you are going to enjoy it greatly. Shout out to the Hood Servative. Yeah, Hood says, you too? Imagine going to the doctor for an illness. Have you considered suicide? Hey, you know, some people, man, yeah, you know, I worked in law enforcement for almost 30 years, recently retired. And, you know, I also did 20 years military. And that was one of the things in dealing with suicidal subjects, you ask them directly, are you suicidal? You know, that's, you know, it is what it is. That's just um, a part of standard uh, standard procedure in dealing with people with those issues. And because you want to find out how committed they are to the idea. So I would imagine physicians have to do the same. I think this is just another level. Hey, you know, have you considered it? Because, you know, you have to access, you have to find out if they have a plan. So it is what it is. Imagine being loyal to the girl that, yeah, that's rough, man. It's rough. It's a rough one. Yeah. You know, it's kind of similar to wanting, being with someone, being married to, you know, someone that decides, I'm really a different gender. You know, and they say, not only do they say I'm really a different gender, I'm going to go through with this. I'm going to have gender affirming surgery, and I'm going to get that you know, I'm gonna get the snatch out kit. You know, I'm gonna get the snatch out kit. Imagine being married to that person. That, you know, back in the days, people used to have to worry about, you know, infidelity. You know, you find out great granddad had a family across the country, maybe two other families, different parts of the country. Now you got to worry about if great granddad really, in his mind, is great grandma, and he wants to carry that out. You know, shout out to Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. So, you know, modern times brings modern problems. You know, so yeah, man, you know, as far as the young woman in Denmark, you know, if she chose it, I support it. If the government chose it, that's where I have questions. I have serious questions. Now, that being said, you know, um, if this was an issue of the government choosing this, then I would have to ask leftists, why do you support this when you don't support the death penalty? You know? So that's definitely something I would ask. But that really had to come up in this discussion. So, that question really wouldn't be appropriate. Oh, look, the connection is excellent. So it's excellent now. But when I first started talking about it, YouTube started YouTubing. Shadow Band Shawty. I'm not the original Shadow Band Shawty, but yeah, I believe I get Shadow Band too. So I'm getting more people on the platforms. Do me a favor, as you come in, hit that like button or hit the dislike button. If you don't like what I'm saying, hit the dislike button. Hit one of them buttons. You know. So we have that going. What do you all think about that? Hood. He posed some interesting questions. Some of you other people that are in here, do you have questions or points of discussion that you would like to make, that you would like me to mention in the stream? If you do, put it up so I can do so. I would love to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Oh, I got one right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you all this video that I thought was pretty funny, and I thought it was pretty funny because whenever a woman tries to insult me, call me ugly or something, um, I'll tell them, you and I look just alike. I look like your daddy, or you look just like the man you're trying to get away from. You are the guys you don't like. I've been known to tell women this quite a few times, and they, they don't like it. Well, I think this comedian has possibly heard some of the stuff that I am known to say. So let me see if I can pull this video up, because this is hilarious. So we can talk about it. It's one of my favorite insults. You know how, like, Tommy Sotomayor used to say chicks look like some dude he used to dig ditches with, or something like that. Some dude he used to play football with. She could hit that power eye, something like that. I would always tell chick, hey, me and you look like we look like two ugly twins. You look just like your daddy. Well, there's a comedian that addressed that, and we're gonna take a look at it. No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, all right. YouTube is the internet's is moving slow today. The internet's is moving slow today. Okay, now that's, you know what? I didn't copy the link. That's just me being stupid. Leave her, but you can't tell her what to do. I know, no, this is different. This is a different one, but it's the same comedian. You know what? I like this guy, man. Ron G. I think he's a funny comedian. I I think he has been listening to talking points that occur in our sphere. So you put nice guys in the same category. Y'all put. Man, this is Let me see if I can pull this URL up. My MacBook wants to replay the video of the girl from Denmark after I done made you all miserable, you know. Now it wants to play. It wants to it wants to stay on that subject, man. It wants to stay on that subject. I want to take a look at this video, and my MacBook is not cooperating like I needed to.
The new women, they want men that don't even exist. The new bitch, they want men that they want a born again dope dealer.
Hey, let me get this up on the screen so you all can see it. Can y'all see this? I'm getting the wheel of death. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, this Wi-Fi in Northeast
The
Florida
new women,
is
they
trash.
want men that don't even exist. The new batch, they want men that they want a born again dope dealer who's corporate, who makes 6 figures a month, 19-inch penis, who communicates like her best friend, who can lead her, but you can't tell her what to do. They don't even like nice guys. Long time ago, women used to like nice guys. Y'all don't like nice guys now.
Does that not sound like when all of these panel shows, these relationship panel shows, and they get to talking to these girls and they ask them what type of guys that they're looking for? That pretty much sounds like the description of the guys that they want. These unicorns, these superhuman, these Nephilims. They want Nephilims. They want the Anunnaki, basically. That's who they want. You know, you dudes don't have a chance out there, day, man. Look, listen. If my wife left tomorrow, if my wife left or something, unfortunately, something happened to her, I'm not dating. And no, it's wild, and it's not just the young girls; it's the old ones. I refuse. I refuse. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Y'all don't like nice guys until life has shown you the receipts of your decisions. I got 9 babies. I think I need to find me a Russell Wilson and settle down. But when you was in these streets, you wanted a future. You don't want no Russell Wilson. Y'all put nice guys in the same category. Y'all put leprechauns and unicorns. I read about them in a book one time, but I ain't never seen one like up close, so close, like Obama and maybe Jesus. The new women, they
I'm sitting here running my mouth, man. I had a whole ramble going, man. I was talking about, Kevin Samuels talking about the No Man's Land. Shout out to my brother Kevin Samuels. As I've explained before, I actually knew him outside of YouTube. Well, I had an acquaintance with him outside of YouTube. We were actually going to do some stuff, some Blue Henry stuff together. But he blew up so fast and so large, and then he subsequently passed. We just never got around to doing it. But shout out to my brother Kevin Samuels. That being said, we didn't agree on some stuff, but for the most part, he was a good brother. Let's look at this video right here, this short.
But then I thought, damn, what if our favorite features about women came from their dad? What if that big juicy booty came from Bruce? What if those tantalizing titties came from Tom? I know Juvenile said she get it from her mama, but did Juvenile ever meet her daddy? Where'd she get them thighs from? Get it from her mama. Her dad ran track.
Pause. That was a pause-worthy statement. That was a no Diddy right there. Let's continue. Fair use.
Now that's an important fact. So dad thighs right there. 200-meter dash thighs. Juvenile should look into it. Say when you date a girl, meet the mom, get a good look at her, because that's your future when you go to their house. I don't know. I think you should keep walking into that living room and check out dad too. See how those titties are sitting, because that might be your future, my boy.
Okay, that's wild. That's wild. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? It has been said that beautiful women tend to get their features from their fathers, and handsome men tend to get their features from their mothers. I think that there's some truth to that. I know with my oldest daughter, she looks just like me. She looks like me. My son looks like my wife. You know, um, I think my youngest girl tends to, she looks like a combination of me and my wife, but I think she looks more like me than she does my wife. So yeah, I tend to agree. You know that that's what it is. So what do you all think? What do you all think? In fact, unattractive women that I've seen in my life, them twos and threes, a lot of them look like the men that they say that they don't want, their fathers. That's my opinion. What do you all think? What do you all think, man? I think there's something to it. Quite frankly, I think there's something to it, man. Yep. I do believe that there's something to it. You know, in fact, some of these chicks, they got the same mustache and facial hair as their dads. I think it's true. We used to work with a guy who, you know, he's a cool guy, man, but he looked like a middle-aged white woman in the face. we used to mess with him and tell him he looked like his Irish mother. He would get so mad. Oh yeah. Man, yeah. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. So what do you all think, man? What y'all doing over there on Rumble, man? Let's see what we got going on over there on Rumble. Who's watching on Rumble? I got a few people over here on YouTube. Who's watching on Rumble? So what do you all think about that, man? What do y'all think? Yeah, and so that was pretty funny to me, man. Let's see what else we got to talk about today, man, because I'm just freestyling. I'm mainly just babbling. I didn't have a specific target or a specific objective for this particular video, for this particular live stream. So let's look and see what else is in the news, man. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Lori Lightfoot is investigating Tiffany Hedges. who, who is Lori Lightfoot to be investigating anybody? Lori Lightfoot, she got into physical domestic with her her wife, because Lori allegedly got caught stepping out and had a little oregano, if you know where I'm going. I can't say the real word, but she had a little she had a recreational group session. We're gonna leave it at that. So yeah. Lori, you got that going, and how you helped cover up Sheriff Tom Dark's situation where there was a domestic, in the vicinity of his residence. Yeah, I know. I've seen the report. I've seen the report. I know others who have seen the report. So if you're going to investigate anybody, Lori, investigate yourself. Investigate Tom Dark. How about that? Yeah. Yeah. How about that? So, yeah. So, they want to investigate all this stuff with the migrants and everything. Thing about it is that there's no investigation. You all let them in. And what people like myself, people like shout out Mr. L. Boyd, shout out Hood Service, shout out Brandon Tatum, shout out other content creators. We told y'all what was gonna happen. Shout out Anton Daniels. We told y'all what was gonna happen. We told y'all what was gonna happen. And it's happening. And again, I am a descendant of migrants from the Caribbean and Central America. Told you what was gonna happen. There's a process, there's a way to do it that is a lot better than how it's currently being done. But you all wanted to be able to steal another election, so you flooded the U.S. with new people that can't be traced. You're going to encourage them to get out and vote for your candidate, so you can steal the election. So, yeah. Hold on. Yeah. So, getting back to, let's double back to, you know what? Let's skip that. Let's talk about this murder that occurred in 2022 in Jacksonville. Apparently, 2 individuals involved in that have been charged. Let's take a look at that and talk about it. Because, hey, I'm going to tell y'all something. Jacksonville is something else. They got a lot of nice stuff in Jacksonville, and it is not the Jacksonville of 1990, but Jacksonville still has its issues. Still got you still got the Jacksonville Wakandans running around, Wakandan. And so let's take a look at this story and talk about it. Fair use, fair use. Let's look at this story.
At Mayman Jennings Park stemming back nearly a year and a half. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says these two men you're about to see, Marvin Mills and Khalil Bradley, are now charged with murder. Now, according to a police report, the key piece of evidence was the victim's cell phone, which police say had been stolen from him the day he was murdered. The report shows police were able to recover that phone more than a year after the shooting, thanks to an anonymous tip.
Hey, I don't know why these fools intend on stealing people's smartphones and stuff like that. That's how you get caught. That's how you get caught. You know, they don't understand geofencing, geotracking, none of that stuff. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use. All right, so you got that situation going on. Hopefully, if these two are indeed the culprits that committed this crime, hopefully they will be convicted and sentenced appropriately in the state of Florida. That is I believe the crime that they committed is a capital felony, which is, can be a death penalty case. We'll see. So we'll see. We'll see. So you got that going. Let's look at whoa, hey. Hey, let's take a look at this, man. Hey, listen. This is one of the policies that I am not a fan of the V POTUS, but this is a policy that I agree with, when it comes to minors, because I don't understand, why we aren't, if your kids commit a crime, and those are your kids, I think we need to go after the parents. The kids committed the crime. And I think that new crime bill that they're going to come out with, because they're going to come out with a new crime bill, especially if Biden get in office, they're going to have to address this. So let's take a look at this, man. Let's take a look at this. Fair use, fair use. Let's go.
I spent both trials looking out at all the family members, and I wondered to myself, I was looking straight on at Mr. St. Juliana, whether or not he'll ever smile again. And that's very difficult. I'm very aware of my job in this situation, very aware of my job, to not be swayed by public opinion, by media, by any of those different things. I can't and will not pretend to understand the pain the families are experiencing, but I did sit through these trials with you. I saw what you saw, I heard what you heard, So I can and will offer my deepest and most sincere condolences for your unfathomable losses.
Sometimes these judges, they get too long-winded in giving their opinions. They, instead of just saying, hey, the law is the law. I heard the evidence matched for the parameters of the law, and this is what's going to happen. Thank you. Good night. They don't do that. They want to be making R&B love songs before they hand down the sentences or hand down the decisions. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
It's as I just said, it's not my role. It's not the role of the court system to make an example of the defendants. However, it is a goal of sentencing to act as a deterrent. These charges are not jury edicts about gun ownership or keeping a gun in a private home. All of the jurors in both trials agreed that they understood that. Parenting is a complex job. Parenting practices around the world share the goals of ensuring health and safety, preparation for life as a productive adult, and transmission of cultural values. Parents are not expected to be psychic. But these convictions are not about poor parenting. These convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train. About repeatedly ignoring things that would make a reasonable person feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up. Opportunity knocked over and over again, louder and louder, and was ignored. No one answered, and these two people should have and sure didn't. Mr. Crumley, it's clear to this court that because of you, there was unfettered access to a gun or guns.
Yeah, she's giving them that accountability. That's what I'm talking about. Hold them accountable. Hey, listen, hold them accountable. Hey, you want to buy it and give it to him? Whatever happens, it's on you. He commits a crime, it's on you. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
As well as ammunition in your home. You characterized yourself as a martyr and threatened the well-being of the prosecutor. Mrs. Crumley, you glorified the use and possession of these weapons. Your attitude toward your son and his behaviors was dispassionate and apathetic. Your response to school staff after a 12-minute meeting was, "Are we done here?" During your trial, you announced that you wouldn't do anything different. I understand that might have been misinterpreted, but it did cut the victims deep. Because of both of your actions and inaction, among many, many other things, the world is missing out on a top college university will miss out on Tate's star quality football skills.
Oh, she about to do the heartfelt crying. No. Just be stoic, leave your emotion out of it, get to the decision. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
I met Raina, who's wise beyond her years, and she's told us that among many, many other things, community will be denied Hannah's kindness, creativity, and sense of humor. Among many, many other things, the world will miss is Madison's kind and loving soul and the light that reflected her beauty both inside and out. Although a hero in death because of his organ donations that helped so many, we will never know where Justin, an excellent student with vast skills and interests, described as a mentor and a leader, would have left his giant imprint.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
They would show the commercial with the cock smugglers. We're trying to do something important. All right, hold on. It is.
The text statements given here and the written statements provided to the court describe the cataclysmic impact the deaths of these children have had on their children. With regard to each defendant, this court has spent night and day thinking about this case, as you can imagine. I've prayed about this case, I've thought about this case, and I've considered the possibility for rehabilitation, the need to protect society, the penalty appropriate to the conduct and goal of deterring others from similar conduct. I have reviewed the pre-sentence investigation reports. I am, of course, sadly familiar with the facts and circumstances of these cases, as well as those surrounding each defendant. The advisory sentencing guidelines in this matter do not capture the catastrophic impact of the acts or inaction in these matters. The guidelines do not take into account the complete lack of insight both defendants have.
All right. As I said, she want to beat around the bush, and I don't want to deal with all of that. But I agree with her decision, man. Listen, if you have a kid that, because of your negligence as a parent, goes out there and commits a crime, I think you as a parent should be criminally charged as well as an accessory to the crime, or as at least, as a secondary. I don't believe parents should be immune from prosecution. What do y'all think about that? I know some of you all, well, you can't tell me what to do. Let me hear what y'all got to say. Let me read what you all got to say. Let me read some of those opinions you all have, because I agree with that judge's decision, objectively. I do. Let me see what y'all talking about over there on Rumble. All right. Y'all talking about over there on Facebook. Let me look at these other platforms, man. See what y'all got going on. Yeah, so, no comment? Y'all want to say nothing? Listening from the clouds? You listening from the clouds? Cool. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Do me that favor. Do me that favor. So, I got one right here, right now. Oh yeah, yeah. Hey. I think some of you all are gonna love this, because we are seeing a pendulum swing back to the right when it comes to crime policies in liberal cities. Because they're dealing with the migrant crisis. They're dealing with rampant crime, out of control urban youth. We know what that means. Little Tay, little pistol solder, Keisha, Tamika, they out there wild. Those cities are starting to regret their previous decision. And, again, this is something people like me have said, hey, listen, you might want to stop this while you can. I don't think you want to let them, be twerking in the streets and all kinds of stuff. And, I know Chicago, we had Magnificent Mile, and, the kids would take over the streets and be robbing people, hitting people upside the head and stuff. Now, the good white folk, they done got tired. And so now they want to rethink, the choices they made. Brenda, who work in the corporate office downtown, she tired. She her little son, little Tay Tay and Dayron, they keep robbing people, keep pulling up their house in Kias, You know, she getting tired, man. She's getting tired of police knocking on her door at 3 in the morning. So let's take a look at this article.
Had embraced lax policies are now backtracking and adopting tougher laws. Dale Hurd has the story.
When former Portland State philosophy professor Peter Boghossian decided to leave the city he loved, Portland, Oregon, he didn't mince words.
Portland is like an open sewer. It's a cesspool. Murder over here.
Shout out to Portland. Shout out to Portland. Hey, we told y'all what was going to happen. We told you all what was going to happen. You all legalized all drugs. I think you all went further than decriminalized them. You legalized them all drugs. You made some drastic changes to your educational system. You in Oregon, you can get a participation graduation diploma. Shout out to Oregon for making a mess of yourself. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Pirate over here. Car stolen here. Dog mutilated over here. The murder rate is up 300%. The homelessness is terrible. Addiction.
That description fits a number of American cities where residents have moved on due to crime, drugs, tent cities, and trash. Cities like Seattle.
I witnessed one individual pull out a knife and start threatening a group of others. Saw the aftermath of one shooting.
Los Angeles.
And I kid you not, you guys, there were at least 5 to 7 crimes happening every single day. And these crimes weren't like 5 miles away, 10 miles away. They were all within a mile of where we were living.
In San Francisco.
Hey, Emily, she looked disturbed, but she's the type that votes for stuff like this, and then she'll tell you how America is a horrible country, and countries like Denmark, which are primarily white countries, are better countries than the U.S. Yeah, I know about chicks like you. Yeah. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Go.
We saw needles on the floor and urine everywhere. It smells horrible. Everywhere. It's not just like one bad street, right? Or like one bad area.
It's everywhere. It's even on the main street.
Not one cop in sight, like at all. Did you see any cops?
No.
We didn't see any cops.
As more and more people and businesses flee the crime and chaos in some urban areas, city leaders have realized they have to do something. In New York City, the National Guard has been called in to help fight the rampant crime on the city's subways. D.C. just passed a sweeping crime bill that increases penalties for theft and gun crime. San Francisco voters have approved 2 ballot measures that expand police surveillance and require drug tests for welfare recipients. Former prosecutor Cully Stimson asked why it took them so long.
What happened to the last 3 years? Where have those policies been? They could have done this from the beginning. We're supposed to forget about the tens of thousands of people who have died at the hands of violent criminals, the tens of thousands of businesses that have been robbed, the stores that have closed. We're not going to forget because they happened because of these liberal policies.
We asked the president of the American Main Street Initiative, Jeff Anderson, why any city leader would think less law enforcement would turn out well.
That's a good question. I don't think anybody's...
Hey, them Antifas are running wild in Oregon. They're running wild in Oregon and San Francisco and all of them places. Those were the people running around with those masks on that didn't stop COVID, but it stopped the police from identifying the Antifas. They after they got what they wanted, which was Biden in office, they went back to their homes, got real high, listened to juggalo music, and committed all kinds of crime and mayhem. And now everybody's getting tired of them. These are your Antifas. Trust me on that. When they came out with the mask mandates, I said, This is not going to stop. Those masks, they don't stop any flu, but guess what? We got an election going. There's going to be people doing stuff. These masks are going to stop people from being identified. And what happened? What happened? Exactly what I said. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna close that particular video, But yeah, I'm not surprised. Now all of these left wingers, they want to get crime under control, and what's going to happen is we're going to get it. The U.S. is going to get a new crime bill. Joe Biden's going to come up with a new crime bill. Well, he's not going to come up with anything. It's going to be the people that actually pull the strings. They're going to come up with a new crime bill, and it's going to have a social credit component. I'm saying it now. Like what's going on over there in China, they're going to have the same thing in that new crime bill in the U.S. Mark my words, it's going to have a social credit component. And they're going to make it to where they can financially penalize you, seize your bank accounts, and all of that stuff based on that social credit score. Just like what they're doing in China, they're going to do it here. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. They're advocating for. This is why you're going to see a national digital currency in the U.S. so that then they can control it. They can control all your purchases. They can control when you spend money and how much. This is going to be a part of the punitive measures of the new crime bill. Think you don't have to take it serious. But when it happens, I need you to come back over here and go, Royce J., you were on to something. It's plain to see. You don't have to agree with me. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Yeah. Let's see if we can find some other short news. I don't want to talk about that stuff over there and over there in the Holy Land, because you start talking about that stuff, then all of a sudden streams start having problems. Everything gets real funny. The internet start disrupting. So yeah, yeah, I don't want to get into that. Let me see. John Fetterman, um, he's talking about the squatters' rights stuff. We talked about that earlier. Let's take a look at this video about the squatters' rights. See what we can see what John Fetterman is saying. I'm not even sure who John Fetterman is. Do you all know who John Fetterman is? Because I really don't know who John Fetterman is. I'm going to learn right now who John Fetterman is, and we'll talk about it. If John Fetterman is that governor out there in Maryland, I know one of the places. He's either Massachusetts or Maryland, where you had the guy looked like a blue collar union member that they elected the governor, and when he talked like he'd been sniffing paint fumes. I don't know if that's him or not, but we'll find out. Let's see.
As flames ripped through an abandoned CVS in Oakland, California. That place had been taken over by squatters. Left-wing policies, of course, are allowing such squatters to wreak havoc in so many places. But Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman just isn't buying in. He told the New York Post, quote, this is quite a quote, "Squatters have no rights. How can you even pretend that there's anything other than you're just breaking the law? I am not..."
Okay, so John Fetterman is a Democrat. He's a Democratic senator from Maryland, and he is sounding off about squatters. The Democrats are getting tired of it. It's too late, though, buddy. It's too late. You were warned. You were warned a long time ago. Now you want to say something. Let's see what he had to say. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Woke. It's wild that if you go away on a long trip for 30 days and someone breaks into your home, suddenly they have rights. This is crazy. Like if someone stole your car and then they held it for 30 days and somehow now you have some rights. He's incredulous. He should be. Fetterman's stance, of course, clashes with the Washington Post, which recently called squatting a, quote, right-wing talking point. So, Tom, I want to come to you on this because I was watching Jesse Waters on Friday and he had Clay Travis on. They were talking about the progression that so often happens. It starts with something is not a problem. Then it might be a problem, but it's overblown. Then it's actually good if you think about it, and then it's racist if you're against it. Where are we on the squatting scale here?
Well, it looks like we're almost to the racist point. But I love that Fetterman, he's been talking some sense lately, which is surprising to me. But yeah, of course, it's a no-brainer. The idea that you can occupy someone's home and then all of a sudden it's yours. Why wouldn't I just buy a house and then after my first month, stop paying my mortgage? And then when they come to me and say, well, I was here 30 days, it's, I think we're good. It doesn't make any sense at all. So, yeah, I think that their argument, it's a right-wing talking point. Of course it is. I mean, this is because, of course it is, and it should be.
And the victims, Molly, aren't necessarily right or left-wing or whatever.
Right, they could be anybody.
It's a nightmare for people who are victimized by this.
I think the thing that concerns me the most is some of
You can call it a right-wing talking point all you want, but as we have seen, it affects people on both sides. And not only that, I would say it affects Democrats in these big urban cities the most because they have rental properties and they are more likely to be in proximity of people who are more likely to invoke squatters' laws to avoid paying rent. The term rent scammer exists for a reason. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
the outcomes that we've seen because of the great influx, this massive influx that we're seeing, have been somewhat predictable. The overflowing of shelters. You could have called that one out way before it happened. The Democratic leadership across the country stepping up and calling in the federal government to do something because now it's in their backyards. The concern about the squatting is we've just seen these big arrests out of New York City of a group of Venezuelans, some of them that had records, guns, drugs allegedly found there, that at some point, as this continues to happen, if it's continued to allowed, there'll be some sort of confrontation where a homeowner actually gets hurt. Just a moment ago, we showed a fire. So it's a very dangerous situation, and it's one that's escalating. And if it comes to a bad outcome, that was a predictable bad outcome.
Tammy Bruce, take a crack at the squatting issue if you want to. Other question as well, though. Fetterman. Is this the guy he's always been? Were we wrong about him? Has he changed? What's going on?
I think when anybody has a life-threatening experience, an existential experience, as he did with his stroke, things begin to change when you realize, oh, wait a minute, tomorrow might be the last day. I think that affected him. He then had depression, and he went into the hospital for that, and then he went into therapy. And I think for me, partly my ability to escape the left was that I was in psychotherapy a couple times a week. Nobody else.
All right, we're gonna end that particular clip there, but that just kind of, it reiterates the point that the left is starting to make a U-turn on the policies that they endorsed over the last, I would say, 6 years. The stuff is blowing up in their face. Now they're saying that libertarians and Republicans were right with the positions that they were taking. You're starting to see it more and more. But the thing about it is, my position on that now is that it's too little, too late. You've opened up the Pandora's box, and it you you're not going to do enough. You're not doing enough right now to close the lid on that box. But one of the things that they are going to institute when they remedy it is going to be that new crime bill that I keep mentioning. And a part of that crime bill that they're going to put in there, they're going to inject in there, is that social credit system. And they're going to manipulate the digital currency. Is going to be a national digital currency. It's going to be a part of it. And the thing is that what are we as Americans, as patriots, as constitutionalists, um, as libertarians, you're conservatives, you're different groups that are on the political right. What are you all going to do when that happens? And see, that's the thing I say about Trump. Trump got to get in office. He got to get in office now. This is not something where, okay, if he don't get in office, all right, it's going to be, pretty much business as usual. He's got to get in office, number one. If he doesn't win the 2024 election, they are going to bury this man figuratively and literally. Number two, if he doesn't get in office, these people are going to come up with some crazy stuff. They're going to say all of the stuff that happened over the last 6 years, we got to fix it, and we're going to implement some austerity and some severe policies. We got to bring stuff into control. They are going to bring in. It's going to be 1984 for real. It's going to be Animal Farm for real. It's going to be. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to be a hot mess. Y'all just not seeing it, man. They are going to take away far more freedoms than they espouse. They are going. These are people. They're going to rewrite the Constitution under the auspice of we're doing it for democracy. Which I told y'all. I'm very upfront and telling you all that I don't believe in democracy, because you can fool the people all the time. We see it happen all the time. All of this stuff we've seen over the last few years is the result of people being fooled, lied to, and manipulated. The thing is, I'm a constitutionalist. I don't care what you say. My rights are my rights. That's my right. I want to exercise my right. These people, Democrats, don't believe in rights. They don't. They don't. They don't believe in rights. They believe in majority rule, and the majority can be fooled. So, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's about to be a hot mess. What do you all think, man? Do me a favor, hit them like buttons. Hit them like buttons on these different platforms. Hit the like buttons. What do you all think? Yeah, it's kind of funny, these Democrats. This Democrat had a near-death experience, and now he's sounding. He's become a blue dog Democrat, if nothing else. Which, hey, it is what it is. I'd rather deal with a blue dog than an AOC, a socialist, who's attached herself to the Democratic Party, or Cory Bush, another communist socialist who are attached to the Democrat Party, even Bernie. I don't want them people in office. Yeah, man. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? It's going to be a rough one when they decide to you know clap back and swing right, because they're going to have to, because stuff is too out of control. They've invited in a whole new ethnic crime element of people that they can't really trace, because guess what? They don't have any biometrics on these immigrants that are coming into the country. Not all of these immigrants are coming from Central and South America. They're coming from China. They're coming from Arab countries. They're coming from countries that are hostile to U.S. citizens, and you don't have any biometrics on these people. You don't know who they are. They are whoever they tell you are at the moment. Whoever they say, this is who I am at the moment, that's the only information you have. And these people will actually have a whole different identity, and they are going to be a part of that, of the crime wave that we're starting to see it bubble up now. Because believe me, it hasn't gotten to where it could go. It's going to get hot and crazy this summer. Y'all thought 2020 was bad? You thought the summer of love was bad? Oh, just wait until this summer. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas, especially getting closer to this election. It's going to be wild out here. You're going to be crazy if you don't have weapons to defend yourselves, your homes, and enough food and stuff saved up for at least a couple of months. It's going to be wild this summer, and the thing about it is, no telling where, because it's this stuff is spreading like a cancer. It's all over the country. You know, there's going to be very few places that the nonsense won't touch. So be ready, man. Be prepared. Be ready, be prepared, and hold these politicians accountable. All of these politicians that espouse stuff that was counterproductive to your family and your communities and your way of life, your jobs stuff. You need to hold them accountable. The Lori Lightfoot, she needs to be ran out of politics completely. All of them types, and the Fannie Willises, all of them people need to go. To Letitia James, all of these, they need to go. They need to go. You need to get them up out of there. You know, yeah, you know what they're doing in these big cities, these counties, in these liberal places, these democratic places, because they're not really liberals. They're not really liberals. You know, they're leftists and they're Democrats and stuff like that. What they're doing in these places, man, there's an evil agenda that they are trying to push. They're trying to destabilize the U.S. under we're dismantling patriarchy until you need it. Hey, we have some enemies in other nations that you are going to need the men to defend you against, because Keisha and Tamika twerking and Lil Tay Tay twerking is not going to stop the Chinese and Russian army. It's not going to stop the Al Qaeda's. It's not going to stop the enemies of the U.S. And then people are not gonna care. Oh no, we not going. We only going after the people, the white guys with the suits. That's not going to happen. They're going to go after U.S. citizens. Period. They didn't pick and choose when the 9/11 attack happened. They didn't pick and choose who the victims were. They got everybody that they could in the proximity that they could. You know, they're not going to pick and choose. You're not going to be able to paint your doorway red. It's not going to be like that stuff. You know, you're not going to have a way to signal to these people that to the enemies of the U.S. that you aren't the people that they're looking for, because they're going to be looking for U.S. citizens. So what are you all going to do then? What you going to do? Listen, everybody wants to be on a winning team. Right now, U.S. is still a winning team. That's what team I'm on. Hey, you know, and guess what? I've already done what it took to defend this country. It's your turn now. I gave him 20 years. It's your turn. You know, you need to figure it out, especially if you're a woman who hasn't served in the military. Now, you women who have not already served in the military, you all need to be signed up for selective service in the draft or give up your right to vote. It's gonna be one or the other, and we're gonna make that legislation because I'm sick and tired of y'all voting for stupid shit. You gon' you gonna put it on you gonna put something on the table for your right to vote for stupid shit. You're gonna risk life and limb injury in defense of this country in exchange for your right to vote for stupid policies. Want to talk that equality? Yeah. We're gonna be equal, all right. You're gonna have to sign up for the select service in the draft. Yeah. We going there. We gonna push it. We gonna push for this mandatory DNA. We gonna push for punishment for paternity fraud. We're gonna push for a whole bunch of stuff that you don't like, because you say you want equality. We gonna make you equal. We gonna push to get rid of the Violence Against Women Act. We gonna push for mutual combat legislation. So you put your hands on the guy if he decides to defend himself, vigorously against you. Guess what? It's gonna be no harm, no foul. That's where we going with it. That's where we going with it. It's gonna be you want equal benefits. We gonna make it equal accountability. So we're not we're not gonna be playing with you guys. We're not gonna be playing with you ladies no more. Yeah, we're gonna when I come back, we're gonna talk about that 4B movement. We talk about the 4B movement. We not okay. Y'all wanna do the 4B movement? Cool. We gonna get into it. And then I got some questions like how y'all gonna sell the ideal of sex? How y'all gonna sell sex? If you're gonna swear off all of this stuff, y'all gonna swear off with this 4B movement. Cool. Do it. Go ahead and do it. Yeah. Go ahead and do it. Because I understand some stuff that you don't. And I'll talk about it behind a paywall. I'm not going to talk about it here because I don't want you goofettes running off going, oh, and we got to do this. So, listen, you all can't even hold men to the standard of, I'm not going to have sex with you without a condom. You all be chasing that raw meat. Now all of a sudden you're gonna swear off sex altogether? When you're chasing raw meat, some of y'all get knocked up in Walmart bathrooms. All of a sudden you're gonna stop. I know what y'all do in them parking lots of nightclubs. All of a sudden, y'all gonna swear off all sex with men? Okay. All right. I saw the Mocha Fest video. I got the Mocha Fest video. I can't play it on here, but I know what y'all do. I seen what y'all do. All of a sudden, y'all gonna go to and swear off all sex with men and stuff like that. Okay. All right. The problem with the 4B movement is that in the U.S., we have we've legalized same-sex marriages, and I said that's great because now we get to see what happens when two people of the same sex get together. How do they deal with marriage? And we already got the stats, and we already see who get divorced the most. We already see it's you, ladies. Y'all can't even stand each other. We already see it. We already see it. We already know what time it is. We already know what time it is. So, yeah. We're gonna talk about the 4B movement later. Because I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious how Keisha and Tamika will jump on anything. I mean, listen, we get it. You don't like men. We get it. Everything in your life, you feel is Jermaine's fault. You know, we get it. We understand. You know, even if Jermaine ain't involved, y'all find a way to make Jermaine involved. So we get it. So, you know, it's just another movement y'all can hide behind saying, you know, it's men's fault and we going okay. All right. We'll see how long that lasts. I wish we could I wish men could you know, somehow keep you all from getting tax dollars. You know, since men pay most of the taxes, you know, I would really I would really help you with the 4B movement. Hey, if y'all want to turn yourselves into secular nuns, who am I to get in your way? That's all it is. You're becoming secular nuns. I've got no issue with it. Hey, do what you're going to do. You're not my problem. I already got a wife. I got a wife and daughters. I got women in my family that I concern myself with. You ain't in my circle, man. I'll do what you're going to do. I wish I didn't have to contribute tax money to you. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm about to shut this live stream down, man. You know, because y'all ain't interacting in the chat. You know, some people ask for super chat, some people ask for likes. I ask for likes and I ask for chat interaction. Y'all ain't interacting, so I'm going to shut this down. But I'm going to come back later because I want to talk about that 4B movement because it is awesome. It is awesome in that it is ridiculous. And I want to talk about it some more because there is a rabbit hole of stupidity that the women in the U.S. who are getting, the women in Korea, the women are getting involved with. There's a rabbit hole of stupidity and self-sabotage. And, you know, I'm not one of those, you know, you need to get married and stuff. I'm not one of those guys, but, you know, I know stupidity when I see it. So I want to talk about it later. But I'm going to shut this live stream now. This is Mr. Royce. Royce Media. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate those of you all who did come by for coming by. If you have a topic that you would like me to talk about, shoot me an email. My email is in the channel's bio. If you are friends with me on Facebook or if you're watching the show for Facebook, my email is on there as well. Or you can send me something in Messenger. And if it's something I can talk about, I will talk about. You know, I would love to have show ideas, you know. But I will talk to y'all later. Be safe. Work hard, make your money. Peace. I'm out.